Hey folks, we're back working on the 65 Ford Galaxy convertible. My father-in-law came over to check up on the progress the other day and he greased the engine a little bit, and he thought he'd remembered a crack in the exhaust manifold, and sure enough, I'm glad he brought this up before it went back into the car, because that's a pretty severe crack, and I'm not about to start trying to get that to seal up and weld and cast or anything. So we ordered a new part. It has arrived. Came with the gasket and the donut and new studs, everything. So we're gonna try and get this onto here. I did do a little bit of pre-work. I've been soaking these bolts with penetrating oil for about the last week. And the other night I came out and I broke each of them loose, so this should be a reasonably short, straightforward video, but those are famous last words, so I'll get you guys up in the stand and we'll go from there. Alright, so I got the engine tipped up on a 45-degree angle, make it a little easier to get at this stuff. Let's see if these things give us any sort of struggle. Like I said, I broke them free the other day, so I'm not expecting any issues here, but always surprises when you're working on stuff. Love these little magnetic trays for holding bolts as well. Princess Auto's had them on for about $2 a piece lately, so I've got a whole stack. Alright, there we are. Interesting, only a heat shield, there's no gasket in there. Strange. Well, we'll put one in there when we put it back, for sure. So interestingly enough, I'm noticing now that we have this off, with this big crack here, it looks like somebody's tried to do a repair on that before, but it's got a hole through it and it's not holding, so it's still worth replacing. But it looks like somebody tried to repair this thing once already. Alright, now it's time to find my first haters online, I'm sure. Pretty divisive topic some days about whether to use or not use anti-seize. I'm going to use it just because likely whenever this has to come back apart 20 years from now, it's still going to be my problem. So I don't want the bolt seizing in there. So we're going to start with our heat shield, and then between that's the gasket. Outside is the manifold. I'm going to put one bolt in the corner to get everything started, and then put one bolt in the opposite corner. And I do use this sparingly. It does make a mess. I can see why people don't like using it, but I also don't like breaking bolts. And I've broken enough of those on different projects. So. Important to make sure this heat shield goes the right way. If you have it on the wrong way around, you won't be able to get your spark plug wires on. Now the torque specs on this, it says are 18 to 24 pounds, so since that's pretty low torque, I'm going to go with the 24 pounds. I don't know if there's a special order that you're supposed to do this in, but typically you go across from the center and work your way out when you're doing heads or anything that has stress to it, so I just make a habit of doing the same when I'm doing stuff like this. It hasn't caused me any grief yet. recheck each. There we go. And that's why you recheck on the second time through. A couple of them did have about 1/16th to an eighth of a turn to be at spec. So, there we go. I think that's the last piece before we put this thing back into the car. I've got to do a little bit more cleanup on the shop, get the car repositioned. I'll likely have to get some help in getting this into the car. Likely won't film if I've got help, just because I don't put other people online. But yeah, we'll see. Regardless, I'll take lots of pictures. See you soon. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays and Happy New Year.